Hello, Kamali here, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on Newsfeed today. What do you get when you mix the words black and exit? A new political movement which wants to make black people stop supporting Democrats, but how does Kanye fit in? Blasphemy laws put to the test around the world. A creepy, crazy new game will go online in the next few hours. We'll tell you about BeeMe. And animals doing stuff are these little guys from a zoo in Peru. All right, top of our news feed, Kanye West and Blexit. Now, as we know, Kanye, or Ye as he now wants to be known, has been a vocal supporter of President Trump from the very beginning. And running alongside this has been a movement which has now officially called itself Blexit. Basically, it tells black Americans to leave the Democratic Party and vote Republican. And its founder suggested Kanye was part of it. But overnight, Kanye West said no.
My eyes are now wide open, and I now realize I've been used to spread messages I don't believe in. I am distancing myself from politics and completely focusing on being creative.
Confused? Well, thankfully, Akanksha's here to explain.
Blexit is short for Black Exit. It's a call for black Americans to stop supporting the Democratic Party. Blexit's website says the movement is the individual journeys of free thinkers across the country and a place for those who have released themselves from the political orthodoxy. We are free! That is from their long-standing support for Democrats. Conservative activist Candace Owens explained the movement during its launch last weekend.
We will color these cities like this room looks colored, with positivity and with hope, progress that can only come from a change of mindset. Blexit is a renaissance, and I'm blessed to say that this logo, these colors, were created by my dear friend and fellow superhero, Kanye West.
Kanye West was linked to this movement immediately. He's previously described her as a friend and tweeted this.
I love the way Candace Owens thinks.
But now he has denied involvement with the campaign, tweeting,
I introduced Candace to the person who made the logo, and they didn't want their name on it, so she used mine. I never wanted any association with Blexit. I have nothing to do with it.
Kanye has had a difficult time with his mental health recently. He's told the world he has been off his medication and has had to apologize for inaccurate claims made on multiple occasions about the history of slavery in the United States, saying it was a choice. And then sporting a Make America Great Again hat, Kanye West's White House meeting 3 weeks ago cemented him as one of Trump's biggest celebrity supporters. But now it seems whatever that was with Trump and the Republicans is over, as he vows to distance himself from politics. These tweets came a week before the US midterm elections, with two black people, Andrew Gillum and Stacey Abrams, standing for the Democrats and running for office in traditionally Republican states. The results may tell us if Blexit is being bought into by black voters, but the Blexit movement say they are looking to the 2020 elections, not the midterms. So the term may be with us for a while yet.
The black exit.
All right, let's take a look at some other things that caught our eye on social media. Red Dead Redemption 2 is breaking records. After launch on Friday, the video game has now had the biggest opening weekend in entertainment history. That's right, a computer game release made more money than any film ever has in its first few days. If further proof were needed about the rise of games, this is it. It made a crazy $725 million. By comparison, the biggest film release, Avatar, made $240 million. This is the world's tallest statue. It's in India and has been officially finished today. It's called the Statue of Unity and costs $430 million. Now, India has an immense poverty problem, and many observers say that this money would have been better spent to help the least well-off in society. Now, 50 Cent put this on his gram. It's done a 750,000 likes, and the accompanying text tells us it's part of a brilliant bit of trolling. You see, the picture is from a Ja Rule concert, and he and Fiddy have been having beef going back to the early noughties. So 50 bought 200 seats at the Ja concert just so they'd sit empty, so he could do this. Now, Fiddy was already well ahead when it came to his beef with Ja Rule, but this has taken it to the next level. In 2010, a Pakistani Christian woman called Asia Bibi was convicted of blasphemy and sentenced to death. That came after she had an argument with her work colleagues who then accused her of insulting the Prophet Muhammad. But today's Pakistan's top court has overturned her conviction and set her free, saying there wasn't enough evidence to convict her in the first place. It's not the only blasphemy case that's made headlines in the past week. Here's Kim.
Blasphemy laws are having a renaissance.
So you do have a number of countries where you don't have a strong tradition of free speech and where these blasphemy laws are used, for instance, to monopolize specific interpretations of religions, which is a huge problem for those who have different views, who might belong to a religious minority and so on.
Earlier this month, the European Court of Human Rights upheld an Austrian woman's conviction of disparaging religion, ruling she was not protected by a right to free speech. She had likened the Prophet Muhammad's marriage to a 6-year-old to modern-day pedophilia and was fined $546. But while Austria continues to enforce its blasphemy laws, many other countries in Europe are going the other way.
The fact is that most European democracies have actually abolished blasphemy laws. A number of countries have done so: Ireland, Denmark, the Netherlands, Iceland and Malta.
On the weekend, Irish voters went so far as to demand a change to the constitution to scrap the need for a blasphemy law at all. The divergence, scholars say, isn't random and can be traced by looking at a country's history.
In parts of Asia, it also depends on their legacy. So the blasphemy laws they're a holdover from the British colonial period. And that's where we see them most starkly used in areas like South Asia.
European colonizers were usually the first to draft official penal codes in Asia and included blasphemy laws which survive to this day. Countries where church and state or mosque and state are tightly bound are also more likely to come down harsh on critics.
This is where the state is saying it's not a neutral actor. It is saying that it takes a side on these issues. It is saying that it will stand up for people who belong to a particular religion over others.
Protests both for and against the use of these laws is evidence of their power to incite hatred, something few religions would endorse.
Now, Spain is the gateway for many illegal drugs that end up all over Europe. And one town in particular, La Niña, is right at the epicenter of the fight to stop them coming in.
Se me ponen hasta los vellos de punta. Eso va a jugarte la vida y la libertad. Y amigos malheridos y amigos ahogados en medio de una mar, que cada uno sabe lo que expone en su pellejo. Mira, que se me ponen los vellos de punta, que no canso un dedo. Cada uno sabe lo que vamos. Que esto no es dinero fácil, como dice la gente. Que de buena a primera nos puede atravesar, o nos pueden tirotear, nos pueden pasar mil cosas, que cada uno sabe lo que va. Falta de trabajo, no una relación buena tampoco con la familia y tampoco te va a ver solo y en la calle, ¿no? Te tiene que buscar la vida, te tiene que mover como sea. Tampoco le va a robar a otro trabajador, ¿me entiendes, no? O un policía que quiere antes, o alguien que le robe a una persona mayor o a otro trabajador que tenga un kiosco. Eso no vale. Te tiene que buscar la vida tú de una manera u otra. Si no hay trabajo, el agua es lo que nos queda.
And it's around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Wednesday. These are protests at the Pittsburgh synagogue where 11 people were killed on Saturday. They're singing a peace song in Hebrew and demanding that Donald Trump denounce white nationalism. The gunman who killed those people on Saturday was an avowed white nationalist who professed to hating Jews. 5 days before the shooting, Donald Trump called himself a nationalist during a campaign rally in Texas. 2 Saudi women who were found dead in the Hudson River in New York had requested asylum in the United States. The Saudi regime had ordered them to return to the kingdom. The girls were 16 and 22. The Saudi consulate in New York tweeted a statement out saying they were closely monitoring the investigation and have appointed an attorney to act on their behalf. Now remember this video from 2015, a Hungarian camerawoman kicking migrants trying to cross the border. Now, the shocking footage went super viral back then. It was the height of the refugee crisis in Europe, and she was sentenced to 3 years probation. She's now been acquitted. Hungary's far-right government has become extremely anti-migrant, so the change to this woman's sentence is hardly surprising. Brazil's newly elected president has wasted no time living up to some of his campaign promises. After saying he wanted to make more use of the Amazon rainforest, Jair Bolsonaro just announced plans to merge Brazil's agriculture department with its environment department. Why is that a big deal? Well, environmentalists say it'll mean more huge cattle farms and less protection for the rainforest. Human remains have been found at a property owned by the Vatican in Rome. There's lots of speculation online that they could be the remains of a 15-year-old girl who disappeared in 1983. At the time, her case was linked to organised crime and to a guy who tried to assassinate Pope John Paul II back in 1981. Now it's Halloween, so people will be dressing up and knocking on people's doors to ask for candy or throwing eggs at houses, as some people used to do. Now, whatever it is you get up to, it'll be incomparable to an amazing experiment being run by the Michigan Institute of Technology. Have a look at this.
Sure I'm me. Just, you're not from the office. Who do you know from here?
Say, I know you, friendly.
I know you for one.
There's no way I'm playing that game. And in Wednesday's Animals Doing Stuff, we want to show you some new tiger cubs from a zoo in Peru. They're Bengal cubs, but have a white coloration due to what the internet tells me is a genetic modification. They're 2 boys and 1 girl and are seriously rare and cute, so the zoo are rightly proud. We're pleased to show you these pictures. Enjoy. And that is it from the Newsfeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints and suggestions. I'm at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on Twitter, YouTube and Facebook. Follow, subscribe and add. See you again tomorrow.